Right then, new crank and bottom bracket needed. I'd better hop onto the internet and order it. Phew! That was fast! Alrighty, let's get cracking then. Okay, we have one bicycle with a dodgy chainring, bottom bracket, etc, etc. What do we need to change it then? For a start, we need a bottom bracket. This one is the Shimano SMBB52. And if you can see here, it's the 68 to 73 millimeter version. This should work for most mountain bikes, I hope, because I've already bought it. Now we have the Shimano Dior. Some people call it Diore, but yeah, there's no accent above the E. So Shimano Dior front crank M5 100-1. It's a 32 tooth and a 170 millimeter crank arm length. Tools you will need: crank puller, something to take the bottom bracket out, a large extendable wrench, and a bottom bracket tool. Oh, Allen keys. Woo! Right then, let's get going. Now, in the best tradition, this is something that I have already done. So this is going the wrong way. There we are. This is the dust cap. Oh, hell, what am I doing? That sounds like Miles. Hello, Miles.
Remember, YouTubers, please subscribe. We're trying to hit 1,000. No, we're not. We're trying to hit 10 million.
Here we are.
One life, one better.
Never attempt anything without the gloves. Right, let's get this road on the show. Take off the dust cap. In there we see the square taper. Put that on there. If I reach around to the other side and take the other side off as well. There we go. Let's do non-drive side first. Okay, chain pulling tool. So this portion here needs to be non-proud. It needs to be slightly recessed. So that one goes on there. Ah, right, important. A little piece of paper. Clean out the threads. Very, very important. That's that. So this simply screws on like that. Oh, what have I done? Or what haven't I done? Pedals. Top tip, if you want to use your crank pulling tool, you're gonna have to take pedals off. Let's take pedals off. Okay, we're screwing this on. Don't do it too tightly, because it'll be a nightmare to get off again. Now that's finger tight, that's all it needs to be. Then we just wind this on, and what it's going to do is it's going to push the crank off. There we are. Then, because I've only done this finger tight, it'll finger off. Right, so basically what happens is you screw this bit onto there, and then as you wind this on, as it winds round, it reveals that, it presses against there, and you can see this is where the crank is tightened onto. It pulls it away off that. That's one side done, and it's exactly the same for the other side. So same thing again for the drive side, but this time we are going to take the chain off first because we don't need it. If I can. I'll leave that hanging there, that'll do. Right, and again, this just screws in all the way, finger tight, and then just wind that on. Now, when I did this earlier, it took a little bit of effort, but it's not impossible. So that's the crank off. Now we just need to do the bottom bracket. Big ratchet wrench and your bottom bracket tool. Now this is non-drive side, so it's anti-clockwise to remove. Now when I did this earlier, what I suggest you do is turn the bicycle upside down to give yourself enough leverage, because my word, did this fight. Okay, get that on, and it goes in like that. Change the direction of the ratchet, and it just comes out like that. Quite a lot of it. There we are. The state of that. This is 20 years of never having been removed. Big spanner. Now drive side is clockwise to remove. So change the orientation of that. Another tip as well is to make sure you clean these properly in between these little splines, because there's not a lot of purchase. And look at the state of that. Utterly corroded. Pop that there. Now, I've already done a bit of this, but getting into here to clean out these threads is incredibly important, because if you don't, basically if you thread your bottom bracket, you got one or two choices. First choice is to recut your threads. Yeah, I don't fancy doing that. And the second choice is just to junk it. I don't fancy doing that either. Right, one new Shimano bottom bracket. So you see there's grease already on it. We just spread that out a little bit. Now if it came off clockwise, it's going to tighten anti-clockwise, and there we can see it says tighten. I think I'm going to put a spacer in that. Does yeah, that's all right. Miles, I'm coming to make sure I'm doing the job properly this time. Okay, bottom bracket tool. Right, that's that side on there. What I'm going to do now is I'm going to turn the bike around, and I'm not going to tighten that down until I've seen how much space I need for the crank. And again, this has a handy little guide to tell you which way to tighten it. It does seem to be easier from down in this position here. Will it go all the way around? Yeah, oh, just about. That seems to be tightening up a treat. One Dior crank. Drive side. That's fairly decent actually. Right. Crank arm. Now then. There are two pinch bolts here which I need to loosen. Looks like a 5mm. Oh, genius. We can't get this on. I think I'm going to have to put more spaces on though. Okay, confession time. I mocked this all up off camera to make sure it actually worked, which it did. And then I, oops a daisy, tightened up the bottom bracket thoroughly. So what we got now, we pushed this in from that side. We've just popped that on. We need the pinch bolt to go back in there. What we need to do first is, with the Holotech crank, we have this plastic piece here. With my crank tool, the one I tightened the bottom bracket with, the bottom bracket tool I should say, this came with it. Now that fits into there like that, and this simply screws on like that. Now you just want it tight enough, not too tight, because what you're going to do is if you push too tight on there, you're going to deform the bearings, and that is not what we want. So just tight enough, and then we can back it off. And please come off and not bring that with you. Bringing it with, aren't you? You absolute swine. All right. All right. This is the first time I've done it. Ah, right, that doesn't screw off. Idiot. So screw it back on. Again, not too tight. Just finger tight. Pull that off. Right, so all we need to do now is pop this back down. And the pinch bolts. Just to fasten this up. If I get the pinch bolt down, if I get the plastic hoop down, it should go in even better. There we go. Right, now with everything, if it has two bolts, you do it by increments. So that's slightly tight. I'm going to come around to this side. And slightly tight. Now, you saw the splines before. What this is basically doing is the top of it here is being drawn together, and that's making it tight. So it won't be able to slip off. Yep. It's not even going to get half this time then. There we are, that's it. And that's it fitted. And see, it's not tight, that's just, if it's tight you'll feel notchiness. Yeah. Right, so bit of grease on the threads for the pedals, and let's get back on the bike. And the same thing for this one. So the observant among you will have noticed that I'm no longer wearing gloves, and the reason for that is the battery of my GoPro died. So we'll have to do the last pedal without the aid of the blue protecty things. So we greased up the spindles there, just to ease us when we need to take pedals off again, if we should need to. And there we are. Not bad, if I do say so myself. And this time there should not be an issue with the chain jumping off. Right, let's go find Sophie and tell her the good news. Soph?
Yeah.
Fixed your bike?
Woohoo! Does it work now?
Yeah.
Cool.
Like proper.
Proper?
Like proper.
Cool.
Want to go ride?
Oh yeah.
Right. First time with a new crank. First time in charge of the GoPro. This could be entertaining to watch, or it could be a disaster. We'll see. Well, no crunchy noises so far. Yeah. Oh, it's like a mirror. We keep up now. It's a bonus. Okay, can almost keep up. I don't do that bit. That's really up the hill. to making it as I've ever been on that. Just a little foot down on the rock and onwards. The first one in that line, and it'll just round the corner. The other one's a bit annoying. I will get that done one day, properly.
Hope you enjoyed the video. Lots of firsts in this one. First go with a new crank. My first go with a GoPro. The new crank and gears worked beautifully. It's so good to be able to change gears without having to worry about clunks and skips and whatnots. So all in all, success. So, YouTubists, like and subscribe, and remember, one buy is one better.